Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Dr. James Dobson's Family Talk. I'm Dr. Meg Meeker, and today we're going to listen to a classic program featuring our former co-host, Luann Crane. So here now is this classic edition of Dr. James Dobson's Family Talk.
Well, Luann and Ryan, as you know, we had a very interesting guest on Family Talk last time. His name is Ray Comfort, and he has so much to share with us. Ray is Jewish, and he found a personal relationship with Jesus Christ back in 1972, and since then he's been working to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to as many people as possible. He has written more than 70 books, one of which is called Hitler, God, and the Bible, and we talked quite a bit about that last time, and we're going to do it again today. Ray, thank you for being with us again today. I really enjoyed our conversation last time, but we were really just getting acquainted with you, and I want to pick up right where I promised on the last program with the connection between abortion and the massacre of 6 million people that Adolf Hitler was responsible for. Other than the fact that people died in both instances, what links them together? And why did you do a movie called 180 to show that linkage?
As I mentioned on the other program, we went out in the streets. I took a camera, came back with 14 people who didn't know who Hitler was, mainly college students, and I was horrified. So I decided I'd go back and I'd put these students into a moral dilemma. I'd read when I was researching for the book Hitler, God, and the Bible, a horrific incident where 300 Jews were shot in a pit, and the Nazis came in with bulldozers and buried them while some of them were still alive. That horrified me. So I went to these students and I said, okay, would you, at the point of a Nazi gun, get into a bulldozer and bury Jews alive? And most of them said, no, I can never do that. I said, why is that? Is it because you value human life? And they said, yeah, I value human life. And say, how do you feel about abortion? That says a woman's right to choose. So I say, do you think it's a baby in the womb? And they'd say, yes. I'd say, well, finish this question. I asked them one question.
Yeah, Protestant, pro-life, Pentecostal. You don't have to be Pentecostal to be pro-life, but many Pentecostals are. And some don't approve of the loud approach. And I thank God for men like Ray Comfort. I respect that man for what he's doing. He's doing a mighty fine job doing what he's doing, pro-life. And but we wonder sometimes. I've heard other ministers wonder sometimes why other ministers aren't on board. We hear them wonder why they're not preaching pro-life stuff. Well, they don't want to be labeled and stereotyped and categorized as radical, extreme, or obnoxious or rude. Because now, anytime you mention pro-life or any controversial subject, that's just what happens. And so, if you get loud about it, well, they act like, well, that's not the right approach. And they've been downplayed, and many of these pastors have given up on that because, they don't get real loud and expressive. They don't get as expressive about abortion or partial birth abortion or live birth abortion like they do their money and their health, wealth, and stealth. And they found that they're received and they're tolerated and they're liked and loved a lot more that way. And so many have caved in. And so now they're on a mission to downplay anybody that hasn't caved in and downplay anybody that is going to get loud and cry aloud and spare not and lift up their voice like a trumpet and show God's people their transgressions and in the house of Jacob their sins. And many of these pastors are going to, that have already caved in, are going to downplay anybody that's loud as he's just a troubled individual, or that's the wrong approach, or he's got an issue with anger. When you can be angry and sin not, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. You really can. Yeah,